Hey everyone, LogicPQ here. Welcome back to the second installment of the I Wanna Be the Guy Remastered Any% Speedrunning Guide. This installment is going to cover the strategies for the area directly after Mike Tyson, Link, Graveyard, and the Mecca Birdo boss fight. This is split 2 in the optimal speedrun route, but don't underestimate it. This split is easily one of the hardest not only for beginner players, but advanced players as well. Let's get right into it. Starting from the Mike Tyson orb, the player must climb over and fall down below. You need to put out the fire animation on your character by landing in this small patch of water. This upcoming area is littered with trolls, and it has the first deviations between beginner and higher level players. For beginner and intermediate players, I recommend learning the location of each troll trigger for this section, and using the save as well. For the double spikes right after the water, trigger them and go back to the water. For the cherry trigger, utilize both jumps to be higher over the spike, so that you have more reaction time to move out of the way of the cherry. Re-land and then jump over the spike and hold right to avoid the lightning bolt. Now just jump over the final cherry to reach the next screen. For this screen, I recommend that beginners ignore the first cherry entirely and climb up to the top platform. Jump holding right to trigger the cherries below and reactively jump to avoid getting hit by them. This trigger is the hardest to dodge, but there is no avoiding it. You must jump over these cherries and activate them in this manner. Move to the right until you reach this imaginary line I've drawn. This is the trigger for the falling moon troll. Immediately start moving back left, double jump over the cherry that you skipped earlier, land on this platform, and then jump quickly back up and around to avoid the moon that should be chasing you. Go in the hole and wait for the moon to pass by. For advanced players, this section is much more difficult, but you can shave tenths of a second with clean movement and a new strategy. When you activate the trigger for the first 2 spikes, practice cutting the jump back as close as possible to the falling spikes to shave fractions of a second. For the upward cherry troll, activate it on the first jump, then double jump back slightly before moving back over the spike onto the platform. If you did it right, you dodge the cherry and have already triggered the lightning bolt above. Keep holding right and double jump to the end of the screen. For the last part of this screen, double jump such that you rub up against the wall on the next screen. This gives you a good align for the new trick, Moonment. It is possible to hit Moonment without the align, but it makes the jump essentially frame perfect. Single jump over the cherry without letting go of right, and then do a full edge jump off of this platform, about a 2-frame window. Wait until about this area of the jump to do the full double jump. You should barely have enough height to clear the cherries. Unfortunately, you can't make the jump to the platform that is raised up, so you will need to jump as soon as you touch the ground in order to save time with this strategy. And for reference, the Moonment itself only saves about 1/3 to 0.4 seconds over doing the strategy discussed earlier. It also creates another big reset point in the run, so utilize this strategy only at a very high level. I recommend being a runner who has already achieved a 22-minute time. Now this screen is trivial because all cherries are already gone, so the rest of it I don't need to talk about too much for the advanced player. The last piece of advice is to cut the jump out of the hole as close as possible to the moon. Now we have made it to the Link screen. For beginners, I recommend jumping up into the area above and grabbing the save, resetting, and then dropping down onto Link. First, we need to understand exactly how Link works. To put it simply as possible, Link will swing his sword after you cross this point. The second spot where Link swings his sword is right at the end of the screen. Link always swings his sword once your character crosses these imaginary lines on the screen, so remember that for the future. To avoid dying to Link, single jump over the spikes in the middle of the screen, and then fall a little and double jump straight up to get Link to swing his sword. Then go back and land on his head. Then ride Link until you reach this section, line up over Link's shield, and jump once to get off of his head. Delay the double jump so you don't hit the spike above you, and you have made it to the next save. Intermediate level players have a couple of options for clearing the Link screen. You can drop onto this ledge upon entering the room, Then jump onto this block before falling onto Link's head. Then proceed as described in the beginner section. There is a second strategy that abuses the jumping mechanics in this game. You can single jump inside of Link's body, then continuously jump inside of him without climbing onto his head. Just follow him until you reach the end of the screen. But now we have to learn about the difference between the jump types in this game. Jumps in this game aren't actually categorized as single and double jumps. Rather, they are either a grounded or air jump. And as discussed briefly in the Mike Tyson Any % Guide video, if you are halfway inside of a semi-solid platform in this game, you can always jump. This is because your jump counts as a grounded jump when inside of a semi-solid platform. This is basically what Link is, a semi-solid, and his body allows you to continuously ground jump without ever touching solid ground. This means when you jump out of this state to finish the screen, you do in fact get your air jump as well to help escape. If you jump out early enough, then you can easily save a fraction of time over the other intermediate route already discussed. The advanced route in the Link Room utilizes the same strategies already discussed, just in a less safe way. Perform the Link Room the same way as the first intermediate route, then walk off the front of Link's hitbox around this area. Jump out of Link around this spot to achieve an early jump similar to the one you could do as discussed in the second intermediate route. I don't recommend learning this strategy as it isn't necessarily faster than the second intermediate route and is probably harder overall. Alright, we have finally reached the graveyard. I'll show you the fastest route through the first room. Any level of player can learn it if they want. Walk onto this platform, hold right off the edge, and jump once you reach the bottom platform. Double jump across the spikes to trigger the rising platform and land on the first one, as close to the edge as possible. Immediately do a small jump up to the higher platform before double jumping up to the area with the tree. Stop, and double jump over the hole in the tree to reach the next screen. This screen is infamous for those who have played I Wanna Be the Guy. Many players' casual playthroughs end here.
Oh my god, here we are again! Here we are again! At the impossible jump! How?
For beginners, I recommend learning the fastest and safest way to get through the moving spikes. Before doing that though, turn around and spam shoot in order to hit the save on the previous screen. Jump through these spikes and time your double jump as the two spikes move down below the ground. Land at the left side of this gate. As the spike in front of you moves up, jump over it and land at the center of the next gate, where a different spike should be going into the ceiling. Wait until the spike in front of you starts to go back down, and jump over it, and before touching the ground, double jump to squeeze through the gap. I highly recommend that beginners practice and learn the timing for this double jump, as it is very consistent. Then just jump up to this raised platform and wait to shoot the hawk that spawns. Do the same for the hawk that spawns at this platform as well. For the third hawk, I recommend triggering its spawn here, then jumping back and shooting it when it gets close. Then just complete the screen as normal. For intermediate level players, I recommend learning how to do both of these first screens in Graveyard at a very quick and consistent level. If you get fast enough, it allows you to hit a platform cycle on the next screen that we will discuss shortly. For advanced level players, we will introduce the first major skip in the speedrun. The time saved for this trick is very significant. Utilizing the save from the previous screen, we are going to try and save as high and close to this spike as possible, skipping the notoriously difficult part of Graveyard, the moving spikes. If done well, this skip, known as Graveyard Skip, saves almost 10 seconds over doing it the intended way. The easiest way to perform Graveyard Skip is to line up somewhere within this imaginary box I've created on the screen. Jump up, and as you are falling down to the ground, shoot the save around this area of the falling animation. Then immediately hold right out of the shot and max height double jump up to this spike. If you did everything correctly, the bullet you shot should have hit the save right before you hit the spike. Reset and immediately do a max height double jump over the two spikes. Then just reactively shoot the hawk as it spawns in. Here are the 4 most common reasons people fail this trick. First, you might have lined up too far to the left, and that means you respawn farther to the left, making it not possible to clear the 2-spike gap on respawn. Second, you might have not hit the right movement key after the shot soon enough. This would cause the same issue as in mistake number 1. Third, you may be shooting too high up, giving you less time to get to the position you need to be in before the bullet hits the save. This usually results in the kid saving lower than intended, not giving him the height he needs to clear the 2 spikes. And lastly, you may be not double jumping both jumps at max height, causing you to not be high enough when the bullet hits to clear the 2 spikes. As you can see, this skip can be somewhat difficult to learn at first, which is why I recommend only advanced players learn it. Once you've got that trick down though, you kill the second hawk and then go to trigger the third hawk. I recommend continuing to hold right and double jumping over the gap with the third hawk still chasing you. This is faster because it involves no backtracking, but it has a small risk of the hawk knocking you down below and ruining your run. Also, it has a small chance of the hawk bumping you up to save on the next screen. This save reset can move the platform cycle to a more favorable spot, saving some time. Otherwise, if you don't get this luck, quickly kill the third hawk and climb up swiftly. If you do everything quickly enough, you should be able to hit the platform cycle without a save reset. This is similar to how the intermediate route wants to hit the same platform cycle. There is one more strategy for the second screen of Graveyard, YOLO Graveyard. This involves doing the graveyard skip as fast as possible. No lining up to shoot the save on the prior screen, none of that bullshit anymore. The method of doing this is double jumping a bit higher over this tree in order to be falling in the right spot on the next screen. Quickly turn left, shoot, and go back to holding right. If you did everything correctly and smoothly, then the bullet should hit the save in the same way as before, but you took no time to set it up. This optimization is extremely difficult, and currently no runners go for this in serious speedruns. Perform this at your own risk. Screen 3 of Graveyard, you guessed it, also has a huge plethora of strategies that become increasingly difficult to pull off as you get better. Beginners. Depending on where the platform is on the cycle, you will either save reset or just wait for the platform. If the platform is moving towards you from the left, don't reset. If it is moving away from you, then yes, reset. Anyways, jump when the platform is about 3 spikes away from the end of its path, and quickly dodge the falling traps by moving to the left. Don't be afraid to walk off and jump back onto the platform to avoid dying. Stay at the front of the platform until you reach the second to last spike, then hold left and jump through the gap in order to dodge the remaining trolls in this section. Next, avoid the hand troll that is in the tree, jump up to the platform on the left and save. Then try and do the next section without resetting because it greatly simplifies it. Activate the first cherry at this spot, wait and shoot the hawk as it flies close, then jump over these 2 cherries, avoiding the zombies. Jump over the single cherry in the middle, still watching out for zombies. And lastly, do a big double jump over the top of the remaining 4 cherries while holding right. This should trigger them all safely, allowing you to finish the screen. The other obvious safe method is to shoot all the zombies in this section. Beginners should just do what is easiest for them, but remember that shooting the zombies is always slow. Intermediate level players should perform everything up to the second save pretty much the same as the beginner recommendations for this section. Instead of going to the platform on the left though, the intermediate player should double jump straight up to the save reset, and double jump up. This brings back all of the cherries, so you will need to learn this specific route through them to be faster than the beginner route. Jump up to the center of this ledge to activate the first cherry and the hawk. Jump to shoot the hawk and then go under these 2 cherries, and activate the second set of cherries. Do a big double jump around the second set of cherries over this single cherry. You should be landing on top of this cherry. As it falls, you continue to hold right to land under these 2 cherries. Immediately jump back and around these falling cherries with a single jump, and then double jump to go over the final 4 cherries to clear the screen. It should look very smooth if you did it correctly. Advanced players, beware, these strats are stupidly hard. Do the first section by riding the platform. Assuming you had no mishaps after Graveyard Skip, you should always make this ideal platform cycle. About halfway through the platform ride, run and double jump off the platform to land on this pixel edge. Immediately double jump up to save, then reset. Perform the last section the same as described in the intermediate section for this screen. One last note for screen 3 of Graveyard. If you did in fact get Hawk RNG and you got pushed up to save on this screen, immediately set up a save reset point in a spot where you can easily jump to this edge. Then do this movement and try to land on this edge. Jump up to the save and continue as normal. This method is faster with Hawk RNG specifically, because it saves waiting for the platform. Hawk RNG messes up the ideal timing we already talked about that you get from normal luck, but it gives you the opportunity to save even more time with this hard strategy. Learning to optimize this screen is very hard, so good luck to those who try. Moving on to screen 4. Things become much simpler finally. Beginners should learn to double jump out and shoot this save. Then just save, reset, jump, and shoot in repetition until you clear the gap. This is much faster and easier than taking the intended path. Then just jump over to this platform. Full ground jump out until the troll platform activates, full double jump and land on the troll platform, and then you're done with the screen. Intermediate and advanced players should learn to basically never let go of right on this screen. Do the save jump the same as in the beginner section, then do a somewhat precise double jump to land on the troll platform as it moves across the gap here. That way you never let go of right. For the final screen, beginner and intermediate level players should fall down and shoot the save as they pass by it for safety. Then run off to the right to land on this platform, and double jump without letting go of right. Turn and shoot at this spot, then immediately start holding right again. Once the bullet hits the save, reset and do a full double jump over the spikes. You should land on top of this large platform, but if you don't, it means you turned around and shot too early in the jump. For advanced players, the fastest strategy is to enter the screen and walk off this platform. Then you will perform the same save reset strategy as described before. This method saves a very small amount of time over the other strategy discussed earlier. One last note, when you activate the falling moon, try and time your jump so that you gain maximum falling speed as the moon breaks the ground below you to save some frames. Alright, you are finally entering the Mecca Birdo boss fight. All level of players should learn the quick kill for this boss fight, but first I will explain how the Mecca Birdo boss fight works. In phase 1 of this fight, you can only damage Mecca Birdo by shooting the red antenna on top of his head. To do this most efficiently, you can jump and start shooting it early. If you mash fast enough, you should be able to easily destroy it before you would need to jump again. Lining up near the edge helps as well because you can get more bullets per second. For those who don't know, you can only have 4 bullets on the screen at one time. Thus, if you line up closer to the edge of this platform, you can get more shots off because your bullets are hitting Birdo, and basically being reloaded into the gun sooner. 2 warnings for phase 1. Don't line up on the last pixel of this edge because activating phase 2 moves the screen forward 1 pixel, and it would knock you off the platform. And 2, if you have an exceptionally fast trigger hand, either shoot a little bit slower or line up farther from the edge because you will quick kill phase 1 too fast and ruin the cycles in phase 2 and 3. In phase 2, you damage Birdo by shooting his red eyes. I recommend shooting 2 volleys and single jumping off the platform to shoot a 3rd volley before falling down to this platform. If done right, you should easily avoid the laser beams that Mecca Birdo shoots at you. Then preemptively double jump up to a platform that Mecca Birdo will always spawn and spam shoot his eyes to activate phase 3. If you did the quick kill setup correctly all the way through, then you should be able to continue spamming and phase 3 will die immediately. Just so you know though, phase 3 Mecca Birdo can only be damaged when he lifts up his head to shoot a platform. The hitbox is the black outline of his mouth during the head raised animation, so wait for him to do this before spam shooting at him because you can't damage Mecca Birdo at any other time in phase 3. This is just information in case you missed the quick kill. If you followed all of the strategies I told you in the Mecca Birdo fight, you should be able to quick kill Birdo. This strategy is worth learning at any stage in your speedrunning career, and it will save you many headaches. One last thing worth noting is if you kill Mecca Birdo but die as well, you will still be sent to the final area before the orb, so don't reset if this happens. This means you can accidentally die after defeating Mecca Birdo and still be fine. Before getting the orb for the Mecca Birdo fight, you must finish one final screen. If you die without saving on this screen, you will need to refight Mecca Birdo again. Beginners should obviously save after defeating Mecca Birdo, then attempt to cross the screen. Easiest way to clear the first jump is to walk off the edge and air jump up to this platform. The red glowing thing has a hitbox, so be careful. Next, walk across and single jump to this block. All of the rest of this ground here is a troll, so you will need to double jump over this to get the orb. Intermediate and advanced players should learn to hold right out of the spawn into the final screen where the orb is. Hold right and time the air jump. This will save you the most time and set up an optimal cycle for the next area coming up. Once you grab the orb, the game automatically saves, so at this point you are safe. All orbs save your game in I Wanna Be the Guy Remastered, except in Impossible difficulty. And just like that, you have officially learned everything there is to know between the Mike Tyson boss fight up to the end of the Mecca Birdo section. I hope you found this guide helpful as you practice becoming better at Remastered. But once again, before you click off the video, stick around for a route comparison between each level of player so you can see an idealized timing containing each strategy mentioned. Subscribe and like if you want to see more guide videos for I Wanna Be the Guy Remastered. Comment if I missed any strategies, and look forward to Split 3. Dracula. This was LogicPQ. Thanks for watching.